Hi everyone, it's Lindy. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am bringing you along with me while I do shipping after a busy, long weekend. So I know that shipping is a very intimidating part of selling on eBay or any other online platform. And so because I had so many packages to do today, I wanted to bring you along with me, and that way I could show you how I pull merchandise, how I package merchandise, and kind of go through all of my thought processes. And I figured that that could be really beneficial for you guys if you maybe don't know how to package a certain item, or you're just kind of curious to see what someone else's process is when it comes to shipping items. And right now, the last time I looked, I had 50 something items to pull. So I'm just going to take you down to my inventory area with me, and we're just gonna pull some merchandise, and then we're gonna do shipping right here, and I'm gonna bring you along with me for the entire ride. So we're gonna go down there right now. We're gonna go down to my basement. So the basement is where I store all of my listed inventory. Now, the entire basement area itself is pretty messy, in case you can't tell. So all of my listed inventory is organized. So when items sell, I know exactly where to find them. There's actually 2 rooms of listed inventory. This is the first room. So I know exactly where to find the merchandise, but right now, it's all kind of scattered in a really weird way. So here pretty soon, I'm going to be overhauling the entire basement and making sure that everything is put in a nice, tidy place. So if I need to do shipping, I don't have to work around chaos, because that's what it is down here right now. And so when I get that done, I will do a more detailed inventory style video for you guys. But for now, I'm just going to pull the merchandise that needs to be shipped out, and I'm gonna show you guys my entire process for doing that. All right, so as you can see, I have 60 items that are paid and needing to be shipped out. So I just use my phone for pulling all of the merchandise. So I just take my phone, and so I just bring up the list of all of the items that are needing to be shipped. And what I do is I scroll all the way down to the bottom. I start at the very, very bottom once I get there, and I go all the way to the bottom, and then I go one at a time and I start pulling the items. So I have a whole bunch of bins here, and I'm just going to start throwing things in these bins that need to get shipped. And yeah, it looks like there's junk in there. Go figure. So now one of the downsides is I just listed a whole bunch of vitamins and supplements, and so you can see this bin is very, very, very full. So that means I'm going to have to pull this out and really dig in order to find the items that I need, and that kind of sucks. But part of what I'm planning to do in the near future is I'm going to get a lot more specific than just supplements. Like right now we've got vitamins and supplements. So what I want to do is I want to get a lot more specific. Like I want to do dissolvable supplements or gummy supplements, chewables. Like I need to get something more specific than just supplements, because having to dig through this entire bin is going to be a nightmare. That was actually easier than I thought. I was able to pull them out pretty quick. Okay, so now I have pulled everything from inventory. It took me about 30 minutes, which is not too bad because I had 61 items while I was pulling things, another item sold. So I had 61 items to pull. And so about 30 minutes to pull all of those is really not too bad. It's about 30 seconds an item, which is pretty good. So I'm basically going to work 2 at a time. I'm going to pull 2 items that are different weights. I feel like if I ship items that are 2 at a time and different, the likelihood of me mixing up packages and putting labels on the wrong packages is more unlikely. Like this item is going to weigh different than this item significantly, so it's going to be harder for me to mix those up. So I just work 2 at a time. I'm just gonna go through the bins. I'm gonna pull 2 very different items and I'm going to weigh them, package them, and print the labels for them. It's gonna take me probably a good handful of time, but I'm just getting a jump start on tomorrow. Because I have so many packages, I don't like to wait and do them all the day that they go out, especially if it's a long weekend. I like to divide them up. So I fully intend to sell more tonight. So everything that I sell from here on out, I will just package and ship in the morning. But for now, I'm going to do these 61 items. That way they're already ready to go in the morning and I'm not feeling so overwhelmed. If I woke up and I had to do 60 plus items within a few hours in one morning, I would probably be really, really overwhelmed. So I find that personally, if it's a long weekend, doing some of it on one day and then the rest of it the day everything needs to go out, I feel like it is a little bit less stressful. So that's why I do it that way. But for now, I'm gonna get going on shipping, and while I'm packaging things, I'll go ahead and tell you guys exactly how I'm packaging things and supplies that I'm using, in case you're curious how I send some of these items out like this. Like, how in the world am I gonna ship this? It's a cylindrical tube. I'm about to show you right now. So my new favorite thing when it comes to shipping is this Scotch Flex and Seal shipping roll. Now 3M is a sponsor of my YouTube channel, so down in the video description I will put a direct link for you to check it out on Amazon, but it is by far my favorite new thing when it comes to shipping because it's great for those really awkwardly shaped items that maybe you don't have a box that will fit. Like this hair wand, for instance, I had no boxes that would fit and I wanted to be able to ship it in a little bit more protection than just a plain poly mailer. Now the coolest part of the Flex and Seal is that it only sticks to itself and not the item. So you can place the item that you're shipping on the Flex and Seal roll and cut it to fit whatever size you need. And then from there, you can just take your sticky label and put it on the blue side, because the blue side is what stays on the outside. And then you just place your item on the gray side, fold it over, and then press around the edges and it will adhere and seal instantly. And you don't even need any tape. It already has built-in bubble wrap and it's water resistant. So all you need to do is just press around the item itself to make sure that it's not going to move around in the package. And it is perfectly protected and ready to go, just like that. Small breakable cosmetics like nail polish or nail gel, I will ship in a very small box. I just bag the item and then I wrap it in package paper and put that in the small box. That package paper will keep it from moving at all, so it's well protected. Then I just put the sticky label on, fold down the edges because it is a little bit bigger than the box, so I make sure to tape it down so that the label doesn't come flying off, and that's it. I always make sure to weigh the items before I print out the shipping labels because I want to make sure that it is completely accurate. That way I don't have to cancel labels and print them again. Just like with the hair wand, this Kristen S hair styler is another awkwardly shaped item. So I'm just using the Scotch Flex and Seal shipping roll, cutting it to fit, and then just pressing around the edges, and that one's ready to go. All done. Stick the label on. Bye. Most small items that sell for $10 or under, I'll go ahead and just put in a small bubble mailer. Like these vitamins, they really didn't need much protection, so a bubble mailer was fine for it. Now, I mentioned before that I always weigh the items before I print the shipping labels. However, sometimes I will change my mind about the kind of packaging I want to use. So in this case, I decided to put these items in a box for the buyer instead of the mailer I was going to use. So after I put everything in the box, I went ahead and weighed it again just to make sure that I didn't accidentally go over the weight stated on the label. And I didn't. I gave myself enough room, so I went ahead, just taped the label on, and called it good. Sometimes if I get a large quantity in of one item, I don't always take off the stickers before putting them away. I'll just put them away and I'll remove the stickers when I do shipping. That was the case with these My Pure Mist water refills. So since I sold a few of these, I'm just taking off the stickers before I actually package them and ship them to the buyer. That's a question that I get if I remove all the clearance stickers before buyers get them, and the answer to that is yes. Either I'll remove them before I put them away, or I'll remove them before I ship them. Something else that I will do before I ship an item is one last quality control check, and that's what I did with these, just to make sure that there wasn't any missing from the boxes because they are not sealed. And sure enough, this other one, there was 4 vials missing. I was kind of a little irritated that I didn't check before, but it's okay because I have more downstairs, so I'm just gonna go grab another box. So I grabbed a backup box and I'm just gonna take the stickers off of that one, and it's okay. The buyer didn't get it with any missing. That's why I always make sure to do one last quality control check. But before I go any further, I'm going into my eBay store and I'm going to revise that listing to reflect one less box, because what I ended up doing was I swapped out the old box for the new one. So that means I have one less quantity in my listing than I did before. So I want to do that now before I forget, because the last thing I want to happen is for one to sell and then I don't have a complete box. Now, due to the weight of these, they are going to go in a flat rate envelope, but I'm just going to ship them in a regular flat rate instead of a padded, because I feel like the boxes are sturdy enough. They don't need the padded. So just make sure to tape it down really, really well, and so the seams stay intact. But really, that's all you need to do. I ship stuff like this in regular flat rate envelopes all the time. I never get any complaints. You just have to make sure that you tape up the seams so they don't rip. Now, little lipsticks are my favorite thing to ship, really, because all you have to do is just stick them in a little bubble mailer. I just tape down the label to make sure it stays on there, drop it in, and that sucker is done. But now, this number 7 foundation, on the other hand, I am going to ship it in a box because it is a glass bottle. Same thing with the nail polish. I just wrap it up and stick it in there. Now this hair gel, anything liquid, I always put in a clear baggie and tie it shut just in case it leaks. But because it has the potential to leak, I do ship those kind of items in small boxes. Same way, I just use the package paper so it doesn't move, doesn't get broken, and just make sure to tape the label on there so the label doesn't come off. Now these Love Bombs are very heavy, so they are gonna go in a padded flat rate envelope, but that's not gonna be good enough. I need a box as well. So the box that I like to use is the 1096L box. I find that these small boxes fit in the padded flat rates perfectly, as well as the regular flat rates, absolutely like perfection. So I'm just gonna wrap up these bath bombs in some bubble wrap, put them in this little box, and then I'm just going to close it up, and I'm just going to very nicely slide it right into that padded flat rate envelope and call it good. So this flamingo razor was actually a $20 purchase, so I want it to be well taken care of. I just don't want to, drop it in a bubble mailer. So I am going to use the Scotch Flex and Seal on it because it does have a triple layer of protection. So I'm just gonna wrap that up, call it good. Now this person actually bought 3 boxes of the My Pure Mist water. And of course, I learned my lesson. I'm gonna check each one, make sure all the vials are there, which they are. Now, it is going to get pretty heavy. Weighed about 6 pounds. It did not fit in a regional box. That's what I was checking to see. So I'm just going to have to ship it in a plain box that actually fits all of them. But I do want to fill up the dead space with some air pockets. And I did use Pirate Ship for the label to save on shipping. So put down in the comments below if you're interested in some more details about shipping using Pirate Ship. I don't use Pirate Ship all the time, but when I do use it, it does end up saving me big money, just like it did when I shipped these 3 really heavy boxes. Rule of thumb that I have is if somebody pays about $20 at least for something, I want to secure it in a box, especially when it's something like a hair regrowth treatment, and that box is pretty dinged up already, so I don't want it to get worse. So I'm just going to ship that in a box, and it can still go first class. It's not like the box is going to send it into priority or anything. And then the tweezers, really super easy. Just going to drop it into a little bubble mailer. Small things like that. You know, a little 6 by 9 inch bubble mailer is definitely the way to go. Now this hair gel kind of surprised me. It ended up being about 15.6 ounces without any sort of packaging. So that means that I'm going to send it in a flat rate envelope. Again, not a padded, just a regular flat rate. I'm going to save the money and I'm going to use that same 1096L box. I'm just going to wrap up the hair gel in a bag, wrap that in bubble wrap, put it in that box, and then I'm just going to slide that box right into a regular flat rate envelope, and it just fits in there perfectly. You just have to make sure to add a little bit of extra tape to the sides so that the seams don't rip, but other than that, that box is a perfect fit. Here we go with quality control again. I always make sure that the foil seals are not broken before shipping any supplements, just because accidents happen, things can be overlooked. Again, I'm just gonna put it in a box with some package paper so it stays still, and it's on its way. So here's another situation very similar to the one before. We have women's Rogaine. Someone paid about $30 for it, so I want to make sure it arrives in really good condition. So I'm going to ship it in a box, and I'm just going to add some air pockets so that it doesn't move around too much. And again, it can go first class. It's not like the box makes it too heavy. Smaller boxes are nice for that reason. Now this Infinity Pro hair dryer, again, we're using that awesome Scotch Flex and Seal because I have no box that fits it, but I want it to have some sort of protection during transit. So just lay it on top. We're gonna cut it to fit, and then I'm just gonna fold it over, press around the edges, and that's all there is to that. I'm telling you guys, I love this stuff. Okay, so something I started doing with anything liquid is I do tape them down if I can, just to prevent any sort of leakage from happening. These flip top bottles don't always, have problems with leaks, but it doesn't hurt to take an extra couple of seconds and throw some tape on them. I also make sure to individually bag each one. That way, if one leaks, it doesn't leak all over the other bottles. Now, all of these I am going to stick in a padded flat rate envelope. I'm just gonna stick all of them in there nice and snug. And then something I do is I make sure to wrap it up really good around the top and the bottom with the tape, because that tape will keep them all together and keep them from breaking. Now, do you think I'm going to use the Flex and Seal for that Chi hair dryer? I would if I could, but unfortunately the hair dryer box is just too big, so I'm just going to use one of the oversized eBay poly bags that I have. Now, the box itself is pretty sturdy, so I'm not worried about just putting it in a poly bag. I think that there's going to be enough protection with the box alone, but if it would have fit in the Flex and Seal, I would have used the Flex and Seal. Now, if this fitness tracker would have gone for more money, I would have put it in a box, but it sold for only $10, so I'm just gonna slide it into a small bubble mailer and call it good. But this shampoo and conditioner set, on the other hand, it's the same as the other lotions. I'm just gonna bag each one individually, and again, I'm going to use that same 1096L priority box and just put that box into a flat rate envelope. I swear, you guys, I save so much money shipping with the regular flat rate envelopes as opposed to the padded flat rate envelopes. There's a really big price difference, and that money really adds up. And I feel like using that box gives it so much more protection than it would have with the padded flat rate envelope anyway. I would have to add cardboard into the padded flat rate to give it some extra protection, so why not just ship it in the box inside of a regular flat rate envelope and save the money? Another question that I get a lot is, are you allowed to use the free priority shipping supplies inside of the flat rate envelopes? And the answer to that is yes. You are able to use the free priority supplies however you deem necessary, as long as you are buying priority postage. Now, the only time you're not allowed to use those is if you, for instance, use maybe a padded flat rate envelope inside of a regular poly mailer and you send it first class, and you're essentially using the padded flat rate envelope just as bubble wrap. Or if you're going to use the priority supplies to ship another service like UPS or FedEx, in those instances, you cannot use the free supplies for that purpose. But as long as you are paying for priority shipping, you can use the free priority supplies however you see necessary. And I had gotten a lot of these Aveeno hand masks, and so I didn't bother taking all of the stickers off of them. So again, just using the Scotty peeler, really super quick to peel those off. And then I'm going to get to shipping them. These oversized bubble mailers I get free from eBay using my shipping supply coupon. So I'm just gonna drop the hand masks in there and call it good. They don't really need any other extra protection. Now, these supplements are a little bit over £1, so I am going to ship them again in a regular flat rate envelope. The boxes are already sturdy enough. I feel like they're good. I am going to go ahead and put them in individual bags though, just in case something happens and the package opens. I don't want the packets to fall out everywhere. So I'm just gonna seal that up. Just make sure to tape up all the seams. That way they don't rip, and send it on its way. These are some examples of things I might just drop into a small padded envelope, just a couple of $8 supplements and a couple of Invisible Shield iPhone X screen protectors. Really super lightweight, not really too worried about damage, just gonna stick the label on these small bubble mailers, drop them in, call it good. They don't really need anything extra, and that really speeds up the shipping process doing that. Don't forget to keep your workspace clean. And this awkwardly shaped baby toy is getting wrapped up in the Scotch Flex and Seal shipping roll. It is not sealed, so I want to make sure that it's extra protected. It's also a really strange shape, so I didn't really have anything to put it in. So I'm just going to wrap it up in the press and seal and slap the label on. These Listerine floss replacements are fairly long, so I'm going to go ahead and use one of the longer, wider bubble mailers that I get from eBay. But these balance supplements, I'm actually going to ship in the Scotch Flex and Seal because both of them together don't really fit into any nice size box that I have, but they will fit perfectly in the Flex and Seal, so I'm going to use that. Same thing with this Instax film. I don't really have a box that fits it all, so I am just going to use the Scotch Flex and Seal again because it works well for everything. I am going to keep them all bagged together though, just so that they don't start falling apart when I'm folding over, trying to seal it. I want to make sure it stays contained. So as easy as that, those are ready to go. And since I already have it out, I'm just going to go ahead and use it for these supplements as well, because again, the two of them, they don't really fit in any small box that I have. So the easiest solution is to just wrap them up in the Scotch Flex and Seal and send them on their way, call it good. Two more really small items. This is a Neutrogena Dark Circle Corrector. It only weighs about 1.5 ounces, so I'm just gonna stick it in a really small bubble mailer. I don't think it needs a box, it's fine. And then we've got some more top coat that is going to get bagged just like the one I showed you at the beginning of the video. And again, I'm going to ship it in a box. Make sure to wrap it up in package paper so it doesn't move. Put the label on, tape it down, and that one is done.
2 separate buyers bought these Burt's Bees face wipes, so I only need to weigh 1 because they're going to weigh the same. Again, I'm just going to put them in the air jackets that I got from eBay. They don't really need the protection of a box, and they weigh less than a pound, so I don't have to send them priority. Don't really need to bag them or anything. I'm just going to drop them in the air jacket and call it good. Cosmetics and creams that sell for over $10, I will go ahead and ship in a box, especially if I can still keep the postage right around 4 ounces, even with all of the package materials. So this number 7 eye cream, I'm just choosing to wrap it in package paper and put it in a very small box, and it still only weighed 4 ounces. So this buyer bought multiple items from me, so I'm just making sure that all of it is there, and then I'm going to weigh it all together so I know what kind of package I'm going to put it in. So I don't think that it's going to need a regional box. I don't need that much space, so I'm just going to put it in one of the 8x6x4 boxes that I have. And I swear, sometimes I think I'm the Tetris queen because it fit in that box perfectly. I didn't even need any packaging materials because it wasn't gonna move. It was perfect.
Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me and keeping me company while I'm doing my shipping. It's not very fun to do shipping, but when I think about having you guys hanging out with me, it makes it a little bit more fun. So thank you so much for watching. If you like this video and videos like it, please give it a thumbs up. That way I know it. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them down in the comments below. Don't forget to check the video description. I will put some useful information in there as well as a lot of links. Something just fell. Don't forget to check the video description. I will put some useful links in there as well as some of the shipping supplies that I most commonly use. I greatly appreciate every time you guys use my links for purchase. And do remember to subscribe if you'd like to see more content. And I'll see you guys with my next video. Bye-bye.